So let's start with the Los Angeles Rams. First pick that they have coming up is pick number 36. And then what else do they have? They have pick number 69 and 77. So they got 3 picks in those first 3 rounds. Where do you think their dream scenario is?
So this is actually the highest they've picked since 2016, since they drafted Jared Goff at number 1 overall. 6 years of drafts without having as much as the 36th overall pick. The dream scenario, though, with that, to me, is finding an offensive tackle, having one of the guys slip. To me, one of the likely candidates who I like, who may not go that highly, is Anton Harrison from Oklahoma. I think that, again, it's a dream scenario. More realistically, I think he does come off the board a little before that, like someone like the Cincinnati Bengals or the Kansas City Chiefs, who are obviously are tackle needy, a little prior to them, could pull the trigger if he's the only one available at the back end of the first round. But if he does fall, I think that's a home run scenario for the Los Angeles Rams because of how Joseph Noteboom performed last year, just because you need an influx of talent already. And it's easier to, that's the harder position to find of all the positions along the offensive line. You can kick Noteboom into guard if Anton Harrison's the dude. So that to me is where I'm starting. If one of those tackles slips to pick 36, it is a run the card in situation for me.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I stuck with the offensive line, but worked on the interior more. I think if O'Cyrus Torrence was available there for them, that would be a pretty awesome pick as well. I think you're probably right, though. Like one of those tackles that people think are going to go in the first round slipping to them, I think is probably a dream scenario. And then if that doesn't happen, O'Cyrus Torrence being there as well would be a pretty good result.
Yeah. And then going into the third round, obviously the pick 69, pick 77, I went to their receiving core. Now, I know they have some talent. They have a modicum of talent there. I think they could add more. I went with Tyler Scott because I think where they are, they're not really in a window right now. So I went with a guy who's more of a project. Tyler Scott, the Cincinnati wide receiver, 4.4 speed, one of the best athletes in this draft class, but really unrefined as a receiver because he played running back in high school, only 3 years of playing wide receiver. You still see some of that roughness around the edges. But the talent is undeniable. And so I think he's a guy who year 3, the light bulb could come on with him. And that's kind of the window you're playing for right now if you're the Los Angeles Rams. So I went him at 69, and then I went Travius Hodges-Tomlinson, the TCU corner, at 77 because they don't care about in that defense the size of their cornerbacks, obviously. Darius Williams is one of the smallest corners in the NFL. You're playing as much off coverage as they are. They just need some better athletes there in the back end. Travius Hodges-Tomlinson, one of the best athletes, corner position in the draft class, but he's 5'8", 180 pounds. That's why he's not going to go top 50, even if his tape is on par with some of the corners that will go top 50.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think you're right. There's a very good chance that they end up drafting a wide receiver, somewhere with their first couple of picks. I wouldn't hate that, but I didn't have it as one of the areas that I would really attack with the first picks in a dream scenario. I think I would keep going on the offensive line if you get lucky. My dream scenario was O'Cyrus Torrence in the second. If one of those top 3 centers falls to you in the third round, I think that's pretty ideal as well. When I ran through the mock draft in PFF's mock sim, Luke Whippler, the Ohio State center, was available in the third round. I think that would be a pretty ideal landing spot for him and for them. And then I think they need an edge rusher as well. So Nick Herbig from Wisconsin was available with that 77th overall pick. That was a snag that I had for them. If they can come away with a couple of interior offensive linemen and an edge rusher, I think that's about as good as they could hope for.
Yeah, I do think, again, when you don't have a first round pick, where can you still find premium talent? It is probably interior offensive line. That's where you can still find guys who are, quote unquote, dudes who are going to be high level players of their respective position. It's not going to be usually at defensive end. It's can sometimes be at wide receiver, but it definitely is a lot of times at interior offensive line. The only thing I would say there about a guy like Luke Whippler is he's probably a center only.
Right.
And you have another center only in Brian Allen on the roster. So maybe a little bit more versatile. Maybe you're hoping like a John Michael Schmitz falls to you at that point. You get a little more versatility on the interior.